So let me ask you something. What's one thing you wish you did 10 years ago? Was it starting something? Was it stopping something? Was it saying something? Most people think regret is about failure, but real regret is the stuff you never got to do. So if you look around, 99% of people, if you ask your friends or family or just observe, you'll notice that 99% of people regret something in their life. But most of the time, what you might have not noticed is 99% of those people actually regret not doing something rather than the fact that they have done something. Most of the time, we regret not actually doing something rather than the things that we did do. So most people have more regrets around not doing something, not around I did this and now I regret that. So what we're going to be talking about in today's video is simple but not easy. So we're going to be talking about 5 things that you'll never regret actually doing. So and the sooner you start them, the better, because believe me, if you don't do them, eventually you will regret not doing them, just like we talked about. So the first thing would be taking care of your health. So if you don't take care of your health, it doesn't matter if you're rich, it doesn't matter if you're smart, it doesn't matter if you're popular. If your body and your health is not to the level it should be at, and you know it, you kind of, nothing else matters. If you lose health, you lose everything. And the thing is, with health, the tricky thing is you don't actually notice it declining. It doesn't decline all of a sudden, and it's not noticeable. It declines very quietly in the background. And you don't suddenly wake up with energy problems or chronic pain. You don't suddenly wake up overweight. It sneaks up on you. You miss one workout. You say to yourself, I'll eat better tomorrow. You tell yourself, I'm gonna, reduce my alcohol intake or whatever from next week. One all-nighter at a time, your health just declines until you're one day staring in the mirror and you see someone who's not really alive anymore, for real. So here's the thing: aging is inevitable. We're all gonna get older. Our health is slowly gonna decline, but suffering, pain is mostly optional in terms of health. And no, I'm not saying that you should become a full-on marathon runner, but you can start with what you can do. So you can start with little things: stretching in the morning, doing a 10-minute run, or just actually going on a walk, going to the gym 1 time a week even, drinking water like your life depends on it, because to some degree it does. Skipping food once, or skipping bad food at least once, sleeping 1 hour earlier, stuff like that. Very easy things. Saying no to things that drain you, saying no to food, alcohol, and so on. Food that drains you, I mean, not food in general, obviously. Your body is the only home that you're going to have for the rest of your life. And if you're blessed, that life will be pretty long. And so you need to make that, you need to make your home the best it can be, and respect it in a way. So you'll never regret being the person with energy, clarity, and a body that just works, and a body that's just always ready for everything. So first thing definitely would be just taking care of your health, going to the gym, eating right, reducing the bad foods, reducing the alcohol as much as you can. I'm not going to be talking about stopping alcohol completely or something like that. I'm specifically talking about at least, reducing to some degree, or reducing the bad foods you eat. Everything can be, in terms of food, I mean, some things can be okay in moderation, and so on. So first thing would be definitely your health. Second thing is that you'll never regret doing is investing in your education. So I've bought a lot of bad books. I have bought and invested in a lot of courses and coaching that wasn't necessarily what I expected. And after all, I don't regret it, even though it wasn't what I expected. Because when you invest in your education in one way or another, whatever the outcome of that is, at the end of the day, it's never lost. And what school doesn't teach you is that real education really happens after the diploma. So I went to university. A lot of the people that I went to university and dropped out, a lot of the people that went with me never picked up a book afterwards. And you can see it because you can see where their life went. Just a regular life. If they actually really invested in their education, I believe they would be somewhere else. And I see this all the time around me. I see it with people I know, especially people that actually graduated university. They tend to believe that once you're done with university, once you're done with school, learning is over. And that's probably one of the most deadly mindsets you can have, because your brain is a muscle, and most people stop exercising that muscle at the age of 22 once they graduate university. So if you want a better life, 100% of the time, that better life means if you want a better life, it means you want basically better outputs. And if you watched any of my previous videos, you know that your outputs are actually created by your inputs. So if you want a better life, you need better inputs. And no, I don't mean getting another degree. I don't mean going to university again. I don't mean, there's these people that they think diplomas and certifications and so on, that's what makes them, what's gonna get them a better life. That's 99% of the time not the case. I mean, reading the book that's been sitting on your shelf for 6 months. I mean, watching a course on money, communication, business psychology, investing, building a course on building something of your own, building an actual business. I'm not talking about studying about business in university where the professors haven't had even one business in their life and now they're teaching you that. I'm talking about actually learning from people that have done the thing that you're looking to do, or at least failed at the thing that you're looking to do, because people that have failed at the thing you're looking to do, even if they never succeeded, have something to teach as well. And watching courses or taking coaching on these things instead of watching Netflix, for example, instead of watching 10 episodes of The Office or whatever. Nothing against it. I love that show, but just doing that will not get you anywhere. So every time you learn something, every time you read, every time you go through a course, even if it's just like a page, even if you just read a page, even if you just watch 5 minutes of a course, even if you watch 5 minutes of a documentary, your value goes up. You might not notice it, but that value stacks up. Those 5 minutes stack up. And 5-10 years down the line, you actually think in a completely different way. You're a completely different person. In conversations, in decisions, in opportunities, you become more useful, more valuable, more respected. And you'll never say to yourself, oh, damn, I regret knowing so much. I regret that I invested in so many courses and books and that I read so many courses and books. You'll never say that. So you will say, I wish I knew that 5 years ago. And that's when regret starts creeping in. Because even though I have been reading, so if you've seen my channel, I read 1,000 books before the age of 25. Even though I've read so much, there's still things, obviously, because I don't consider myself smart or something like that. Obviously, there's things that I still don't know. I mean, 1,000%. It's even funny to say that because it goes without saying. There are things that I can still learn in life. And when regret starts creeping up is when every day of your life, there's something that happens that makes you think, I wish I knew that 5 years ago. I wish I knew that earlier. I wish I knew how to handle this problem or how to handle this conversation or yada, yada, yada. I wish I knew that 5-10 years ago. It would have made my life so much easier. And if you look around online, again, friends, family, everyone around you, you'll see that people say that, a lot of people say that very, very often. And it's kind of painful, especially when it's family, because they could have actually done the work to know that 5-10 years ago. So don't let that be your actually study, real learning, and start now and learn like your future depends on it, because again, it does. Now, the third thing that I would say you would never regret is building something of your own. So I don't really care if you love your 9 to 5 or hate it. You need something that's yours, a business, a side project, a creative outlet. It doesn't even need to be fully yours. It can be someone else's. So for example, it could be a friend of yours is starting a business and is asking you for your help with it. And you find that business interesting, for example. Getting behind a purpose that's actually your own, getting behind something that's not your 9 to 5, some kind of a project, some kind of a business, some kind of a outlet. You'll never regret doing that. Jobs feel secure until they aren't. And that's what nobody tells you about. Everybody says that, you should get a job and so on because you get more security, yada, yada, yada. That's not really the case though, because you can get let go any moment. And then what? You have to again find something new. And 99% of people don't save money. There were some statistics that I can't get off the top of my head right now, but I saw something along the lines of most people in their 20s don't even have $1,000 in savings, let alone more. So if you do get let go of your job, what happens then? Now you have to look for something. The point is, people say that jobs are secure. People say that getting a diploma, going to university is secure. It's not. And by the time you want freedom, it's too late to start building. The thing is, most people, they get into a job and they kind of forget about their dreams. The security of it, or at least the perceived security of it, makes them forget about their dreams and makes them forget about what do they actually want to build. And so they just continue on mindlessly, unconsciously building someone else's dream. And, starting something doesn't mean starting something of your own. This is what trips people up every time. Starting something of your own doesn't mean quitting everything else. It doesn't mean that you now have to, leave your job and start working full time on what you want to build. It means just planting seeds now, so you don't have to basically starve later. So you can start building something small now, and just work on it in the weekends. There's people that tell you like, what is your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5 or before your 9 to 5, whatever. You don't even have to do that. Like, you don't have to work on these things every day. You can work on it on the weekend when you have a few spare hours, and just work on something you actually love, something that actually is yours and excites you for the future. And that could be, that could be a YouTube channel. That could be a skill that you turn into a service, a coaching program, a course that you're building on something around something that you're interested in. And if you want help with that, by the way, starting something of your own, click the link in the description. But just starting something of your own, whatever it is, it counts. Even if you put only 1 to 2 hours on the weekends, and even if it fails, the skills you'll learn, they're priceless, and that's the most important part. You're not starting something of your own. You don't have to start something of your own to become a billionaire or something, or a millionaire or whatever. It's about actually starting something of your own because of the person it turns you into. It's about, a lot of people say, especially in the coaching, sales industry and so on, that sales is the best getting into sales as a job is the best self-development program. And that is very true. I have been in sales. It is 1,000% true. What's even better though is being an even better self-development program is working on something on your own. Not necessarily becoming an entrepreneur, but actually building something of your own that other people can use and learning in the process. The skills you learn, they're priceless. They're going to be with you forever, and you're never going to regret having those skills. You're never going to regret the things you learn from that and the person you turn into because of that. So you'll never regret betting on yourself. You'll only regret waiting until you didn't have the energy anymore. And one day, when you're on your deathbed, believe me, you'll never say to yourself, damn, I regret starting that thing of my own and it failing. But you will regret saying, damn, I wish I started that thing I really wanted to start, and I never did. So that's something to think about. The fourth thing I would say is spending time with loved ones, be that romantic relationships or just family. If there's one regret that haunts people, it's this one. And if you look at studies, I think that's one of the biggest regrets of people on their deathbed is not spending enough time with people they love. Not the money they didn't make, not the vacations that they missed, is the people that they didn't hug enough, the words that they didn't say. And you can think about it. How many people in your life do you assume will always be there? Or you live every day with the unconscious assumption that they're going to be there. Your parents, your best friends, your siblings, maybe your children. But time is undefeated. You're already running out of chances every single day, and you just don't know it yet. And believe me, none of these things, like everything can be gone in like a split second. So I got hit by a car recently, and that's when you realize like it took 10 seconds, and I could have been gone. So that's when you realize like all of these things could be taken away very quickly. So make the call, book the trip, stay in the room a little longer, hug your loved ones for a few more seconds, and when you look back, these are the moments that you'd wish you had more of. No one regrets being present for the people they love. The only regret is being too busy for the people who matter most, and that often happens in combination with what I was talking about in the previous point, which is not starting something of your own. When you're working for somebody else's thing, you usually, that's the saddest part, you give up your own life for somebody else's, to advance somebody else's, or to advance somebody else's dream or idea, and then what is actually left for you. So try to be there as much as possible today. And the fifth one is not caring what people think. So if we're honest, a lot of your life isn't really yours. It's most likely shaped by the fear of being judged, the fear of being laughed at, the fear of being misunderstood, and you wear the clothes they expect. You say what's safe. You hide the parts of you that want to get out, and ask yourself the question: Who are you really living for? Are you living for yourself, or for them, whoever they are? Because if it's not for you, what's the point? Because this life is yours. So if you're not living for you, what's the point of that? No one's thinking. The thing is, no one's thinking about you as much as you think they are. Most people are so lost in their own, most people are actually lost in the thoughts that people were thinking about them so much that they are not thinking about you. So most people have the same issue you're most likely having, which is thinking about what people think of them. And they're so busy thinking about that, about what people think of them, that they're too busy to think about you. So they're all too busy worrying about themselves. So do it, post it, say it, like wear it, be whatever you want to be. You'll never regret being and living like the way you want to live. You'll never regret being authentic, but you will regret editing your life for people, for an audience that was never watching in the first place. So those are the five, I think. They're simple. They can be hard to implement, but they're yours to choose. So you won't regret any of them, but if you don't choose now, time might take that choice for you, might make that choice for you. So let me know in the comments, which one are you going to be acting on this week? And if you want more videos like this, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.